Hi, folks. Happy Friday.
Hello, everyone. We just want to say first off, this is our first live stream, so bear with us. We're using brand new technology, but we are really excited to start this. You can plan on seeing us every Friday at noon Central. We are going to cover kind of streaming news from the week, some things that stood out to us, and give you the opportunity to ask us anything you want.
And yeah, some of us, me, are technically challenged, so we're going to try not to let perfect be the enemy of good here and just get started and discuss things. And please feel free to ask any questions you have, and we will do our best to answer them.
We will. And we'll also do our best to get your comments addressed as you send them in. So if there's a little delay, just know it's us trying to get our technology in order. So without further ado, let's kick it off with our first item, which is big news from Disney this week. Now, we have a video coming out that'll dive into more detail on this, but there was a lot. So we thought we would start by covering that. If any of you were following the news, you probably saw that Disney announced that it lost 4 million subscribers, actually a little over 4 million subscribers. Now, most of those were in India. It had been streaming a really popular cricket league there, and it lost those rights. It put them on like linear TV over there, and it, as a result, lost a lot of subscribers. We know that people love live sports, and in India, cricket is the live sport that they love to watch there. So it really wasn't a surprise. It sounds a lot worse than it is. Disney lost about 600,000 subscribers here in the US and Canada. And that's, not exactly sure why, but we know people are cutting streaming services to try to save money. It could be from that, could be churn. Hulu, which Disney owns, was actually up 200,000 subscribers, and ESPN Plus was up about 400,000 subscribers. Now, beyond those subscriber counts, the really big news was that Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that there will be a single sign-on for Hulu and Disney Plus. So Hulu content is going to be integrated into Disney Plus somehow, sometime this year. We don't know exactly how that's going to work, but reading a lot of articles about it, it seems plausible that Disney Plus would put like a Hulu tab or something on its interface that you could just click, and then that would launch you into Hulu. So some questions about this: who's going to get it? Does this mean if you're signed up for Disney Plus, you're also just going to get Hulu? No, it doesn't. You have to subscribe to Hulu in order to get this content through Disney Plus. Basically, Bob Iger is just Disney wants to make it easier for you to access both of these apps. They know we want convenience, and this is one way they've been working on, I think, for a while to try to give us that. People have asked about Hulu Live. What's that going to be like? Is that going to be integrated? We'll have to see, but it also seems reasonable that if you subscribe to Hulu Live, and if Disney does the thing where they just put a tile for Hulu on there, you click that, it would take you to Hulu Live or whatever you're used to seeing there, at least in its first iteration. Another announcement was that Disney Plus is going to raise the price of its ad-free plan, which costs $11 right now. We don't know how much it's going to go up by. They haven't said yet, just sometime this year. And if we look at what Max did, Warner Brothers Discovery, as you know, bought HBO, combined it into HBO Max, and then announced later this month it's rebranding as Max. They raised the price of their ad-free plan by just $1 to $15. They felt from their research that that was all people were willing to pay right now. Disney for sure is watching what Warner Brothers is doing, and so we think it's reasonable. We could see in the neighborhood of $13 to $15 to come out for that ad-free plan. Keep in mind when we consider pricing, Disney makes more money on the ad-supported plan because we're paying, right now, I think it's what, John, $8? Pretty sure it's like $8 a month.
Something like that, yeah.
For the ad-supported plan. And Disney is also getting revenue from advertisers in that plan. So,
and that's the case for most streamers. They make more money from ad-supported plans.
And looking a little closer at Iger's comments, he indicated to investors and shareholders that that is more profitable. They want to raise the price of the ad-free plan so they can make a little more money there. Also knowing that some people aren't going to want to pay that, and those who do will likely bump down to the ad-supported plan where Disney will make even more money on them. So that's just something to keep in mind when you see those numbers come out. Disney's also, like all the media companies are, they're testing the ceiling to see what we're willing to pay. And they're going to keep, all of them are going to keep testing that upper limit until it becomes clear what's the breaking point for us.
And there was a question about ESPN Plus. I've read some about ESPN Plus and whether or not they're going to add it, and I could be wrong here. I think the thrust of this is really combining Disney Plus and Hulu together. It would not surprise me at all at some point to get them added, but that also depends largely, I think, on whether or not ESPN is going to spin off and have its own DTC platform. So that's to be determined, I think.
Yeah, and something else to note here is about content. So, excuse me, Iger also said that they're going to start pulling underperforming content off of the platform. And they're probably going to be looking at sending it to a fast service. We saw Warner Brothers do that with popular HBO series like Westworld. It licensed that to the Roku channel, and we're seeing really all the media companies do this. We can talk about it more in a little bit, but fast services are growing because we're all, inflation, we're all trying to spend less and find the least expensive ways to get the content we want. And fast services make media companies money. They make them a lot of money because they run a lot of ads there. So they're all looking at how can they push content, some of their content, to those free options. Now, Disney has said it's going to prioritize its cornerstone content. That's not the word they used, but I mean, you can see even just by what I'm wearing, I am a Disney fan. I love Disney. He doesn't, hates them. Kids and I love it. I love Star Wars. I love that they have Star Wars as a hub on their site, and they've indicated that they're going to continue to kind of safeguard that content. And that content, just maybe I'm camping out on Disney a little too much here, but my daughter and I just went to Disneyland last week. She's turning 16, and this was what she wanted to do for her 16th birthday. Yay, Carla. We had a blast. I know that content that they're creating, it's expensive. We know content's really expensive to create. But for Disney in particular, content drives their business because as you know, if you visited a Disney park, these characters and stories they create end up in their theme parks. They create rides around them. They create ungodly amounts of merchandise around these so people like me can buy it and wear it. And so they need to continue to invest in the content that they know, like Marvel and Star Wars and, their Disney princess movies and stuff that really people love, because that's going to funnel people into their parks, which is where they really make their money. So that being said about Disney, I think we can probably move on to our next item, other than just to say I think some people have been asking, what does this mean about Comcast? Is Disney going to sell Comcast now? Sell Hulu. As you know, if you know, Disney owns 2/3 of Hulu. Comcast owns the other third, and starting early next year, Disney has the right to buy Comcast's third share of Hulu. Both of those companies are going to be battling to get the best price. This move to integrate Hulu into Disney Plus, John, we think that it's probably a signal that Disney's going to want to retain Hulu. We don't know. We really have to watch and see.
It's Disney, so they're going to look out for their own best interest, and it's not going to be clear or straightforward. So. Yeah. But I'm not opinionated at all.
Yeah, we'll see. And, I don't know what the outcome will be. It might end up being higher costs for Hulu. It's entirely possible.
Yeah. So speaking of price increases and moving on from Disney, thankfully, Frndly announced this week that they have put through 3 or 4 major platform upgrades to the app, and this is perfect timing because we are due to review the Frndly app again. It's been a while since we have reviewed it, and really, it's as we see more people wanting to move away from expensive live services, Frndly for the right person can be a really good option. You get 40 some odd channels. Don't get your locals, but if you compare it with an antenna, or if you want sports and combine it with ESPN Plus, you can really have an affordable TV package that gets you some content without spending, near $100 for a premium live service. And some of the things that they announced is changing the My Recording section to being called My Stuff. And then they're also going to have a new home for on-demand content and favorited shows. Items that you favorite will now be in your queue, making it easier to find and watch your favorite shows and movies. And they're also going to have a new TV series section from shows across Frndly channels. Users are up at Frndly quite a bit from what I last read. Their last quarterly numbers were up fairly significantly, which because of that, they're going to want to keep users happy because they really have marketed a niche there that could really help them grow given rising prices and given how all the premium services are just continuing to raise their prices.
Yeah, and that really leads us into our next item, which it's not going to come as a surprise to anyone that cord cutters are canceling streaming services to save money. And, we want to hear what you guys think about all these topics. So, Frndly, do you use Frndly? What do you think about these changes? Is Frndly, if you don't use it, is this something you've been thinking about because it is a lower cost streaming service to switch to save money? In regards to Disney, would you pay more for an ad-free plan? Or, are you, nope, I'm done with them all together. I'm going ad supported. And then with this next item, so again, it's not going to be a surprise to anyone, but Hub Research came out with a report showing that people are cutting down the number of streaming services that they're using. Last year, it was at a high of 7.4. Now it's down to 6.4. I don't know how you have 0.4 of a service. Just kidding. I know that's an average, but everybody's, I guess, cutting at least on average one service. So are you doing that? I know we're doing that. And we think that's a smart thing to do. For a while now, and you watch the channel, we've been saying a great way to save on your streaming costs is to sign up, know what shows you want to watch, know when they're coming out. And if you can be patient, wait for all the episodes of a series to drop, and then sign up for that service, binge your show, cancel the service. We can still do that. We have to remember this isn't like cable. There are no fees to cancel. And at least for now, streaming services are allowing us to sign up and cancel as many times as we want. So that's something to do. And then also, cutting down the number of services, like we've talked about, John, pay attention to what you watch.
Excuse me.
And I mean, we found, even me with Disney Plus, there was a time I'd watched everything on it, and I realized after a few months, I haven't watched this. I've not even opened the app for 3 months. And as much as I love Disney, why keep paying for something I'm not using? So we canceled it, and then I waited a year, and we got a great deal. We've talked about this too, but Hulu often does Black Friday deals. So we've been able to snag Hulu for a year for $2 a month. A couple of months ago, they offered us the ability to add Disney Plus for $2 a month, the ad-supported plan. So we're getting both services, ad-supported versions, for $4 a month, which is a great deal.
And since Mandalorian is over, we can now get rid of Disney Plus.
I don't know. The kids and I started a new Star Wars chronological journey, so we're watching everything from oldest to newest. Hey, there might be some Star Wars fans watching, and in case they are, I want you to know I'm your people. All right, so anyway, just, why are people cutting services? Tell us why you might be. But common costs that came to our mind, of course, trying to save money. The pandemic is over. Streaming services were really high then, but people are out and about and doing more things outside like they used to. So people are watching less TV overall. And Also, and I think this is important, as more and more people cut the cord and switch to streaming, we're also learning how to find the shows we want to watch and where they are, and learning which services we need to get those. And so I think as people realize they don't need everything, they're trimming services, which is great. And then, really that's it. So if you've canceled a service, let us know.
Yeah, and that dovetails fairly well with the writer's strike, our next topic. And, that happened about a week and a half ago on May 1st. And it's the first strike in 15 years. And I remember back in the 80s, my parents watched David Letterman. And I remember when they had a writer's strike. Studios do have some scripted content banked up, but depending on how long it goes, there will be economic consequences. The last time that they went on strike in 2007 to 08, it lasted 100 days, and Los Angeles alone lost $2.5 billion in revenue. The Writers Guild of America, so WGA, is negotiating with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers to address writers' concerns over pay, which largely in part comes out of streaming and them not being paid, writers not being paid sufficiently, in their opinion, to what they should be. And that last deal was done during the pandemic. And so understandably, they wanted work then. Now streaming has exploded even more, so they want to be paid more equitably, which we understand. And since streaming is a big part of it, streaming has fewer shows, fewer episodes, and less residual income for writers versus traditional legacy cable. And that results obviously in less money for them. And it affects everyone working on creating and producing shows. And we remember the last time that they had the strike 15 years ago, Nicole is a copywriter by trade. And we heard on the news TV writers saying, oh, my gosh, I guess I'm going to have to go back to copywriting. And so it's just interesting how it affects writers.
Yeah, and just to talk on that a little bit, John, because streaming is a big part of why this is happening. And, I know it's easy. It might be easy for us to say these, privileged people, why are they striking, But really, a lot of these writers during the pandemic, they created a lot of content that we all enjoyed, and they did it for less money because, the world was in chaos and whatever. They just did it. And streaming is a new medium. And so the traditional contracts they had worked in for broadcast TV shows didn't really apply. And broadcast TV, they would order a set number of episodes for a show. And the writer knew going into it, okay, I can count on this amount of money. Well, that didn't apply with streaming. And shows could get dropped in a second. And we've read elsewhere how shows would be fully produced and then dropped and never streamed. And then all that effort that you've put in as a content creator, you can't show anyone that because it doesn't live anywhere. So that hurts you. And then, it just overall less money for writers. They really count on residual income. And if that isn't set up with streaming and everything's moving to streaming, it's a little bit, I think, greedy of the studios not to give the writers what they deserve. And now everybody's hurting because everybody that produces a show is out of a job. So I guess I have to see how it goes. But one of our questions for you all would be, what shows are you watching now because of the writer's strike? So, late night TV, we can look at Variety actually did a nice list here of all the shows that are off because of the writer's strike. And of course, late night was the first one to leave. Other popular series like Abbott Elementary, that's gone right now. Even streaming shows like Andor and some of these other ones that were in the works, that's all been put on hold now because the writers, production had to drop. So if you aren't feeling it now, we will feel it. We will feel it in delayed release dates for our shows. So I know John and I have gone back to restarting Game of Thrones. It's a series we watched a long time ago, and it aired on HBO, and it's there in its entirety. So we've just started watching that at night. But let us know what you're watching if your favorite show was impacted by the strike.
Okay, so next up, quick hit on Yellowstone Season 5. If you're a Yellowstone fan, you know how crazy the time span has been, and there have been rumors all over the place, and now it seems fairly clear that it's going to be over at the end of Season 5, and that Kevin Costner is leaving. There has been reports of a new spinoff. We don't know if that's going to be the Matthew McConaughey one that was recently reported, or if it's going to be another one. But there is the news this week was that the first parts of the first 8 episodes, I believe it was, of Season 5 will be going to Peacock. And it seems like that Paramount has got their ducks in a row now and for any future spin-offs of Yellowstone, that it wouldn't have this goofy issue of being on the Paramount network and then going to Peacock. And just one of the biggest frustrations for streamers. I know that we get asked a lot, why is it on 2 different things? That's going on, and there's clearly uncertainty over the future of that popular show. So if you're a Peacock fan, a subscriber, and you're a Yellowstone fan, I guess it's May 25th, I believe, Memorial Day weekend, that it's going to be coming to the streaming service.
Yeah, and John, just take a quick second. We are seeing your comments, so we're trying to respond to them. Appreciate your patience there. Shandru, thank you for your support. We saw that you thanked us for the video. We appreciate that. And then also Jen mentioned that it's important to check deals through your cell phone providers. She says we currently get the Disney bundle for free, paid for a year of Paramount Plus, and receive Netflix Premium free for a year. That's great if you're not using a low-cost cell phone provider to save money on your plan, and you are using Verizon or someone like that. There are a lot of deals to be had with streaming services, so that's a great point, Jen. Thanks for that. I'm moving on from Yellowstone, and Paramount Network was its home. Let's talk about Paramount for just a minute. An unfortunate trend in the streaming space as it matures is that people are getting laid off. So Paramount Plus announced this week that it
Paramount.
Paramount, the studio, cut 25% of its U.S. workforce. That's huge, a quarter of its workforce. They had bad, poor results.
Quarterly numbers.
Poor numbers. Yeah. We know what investors want. They want to see profit and revenue. And one of the easiest way to cut your costs is to fire people, unfortunately. So if that affects you or someone you know, we're really sorry about that. That is a hard thing to go through. This announcement comes after Paramount Plus integrated Showtime completely into its platform. So consolidation is something, we're bringing this up because we think these are trends impacting the wider industry. We know Warner Brothers laid off, Discovery laid off a lot of people last year. Disney announced it, laid off 7,000 workers. So this is happening industry-wide. We saw today what Netflix said changes are coming to its platform. I don't know if that means it's firing people, but...
No, cutting investment, cutting costs and production costs. $300 million, I think, was the number I saw. So
in addition to fewer people, we're going to see fewer shows. I mean, really overall, this is all has a domino effect of streaming is expensive, content's expensive to create. Investors are now putting pressure on media companies to become profitable, and that means they have to slash expenses. And I think one of the unfortunate side effects of it is, and someone had commented earlier, there's not enough content on streaming services. That's why people cancel their subscriptions. I think that's true, and I think that we're going to see less content coming out. It's going to be more mainstream content designed to please the majority of people. I think we're going to see less kind of specialty or niche content going forward.
More reality.
Yeah.
Content.
But let us know what you think. What do you think are some of the other steps that you see streaming services doing to kind of cut their costs?
And another update is Amazon announced this week that they are set up a new licensing division called Amazon MGN Studios Distribution. This is going to, through this, they're going to license some Amazon originals to other outlets, including to fast services. And this is just another way for companies, and Disney's doing it, others are doing it, to allow them to make more money off of their content. And really just, again, harping on that point of streaming services are still losing money and are doing this to make money. And they also announced that they're going to stream 11 local NBC and 4 Telemundo regional news stations for free on Fire TV devices. These are in larger cities, obviously. They're also available, those channels are also available in Peacock, Samsung TV Plus, Roku Channel, and Xumo Play. But it includes New York, LA, Chicago, Philly, Dallas, DC, Boston, Bay Area, South Florida, San Diego, and Connecticut. Where in Connecticut, I don't know. That sort of stands out to me amidst LA and Chicago.
And I'm going to say the Telemundo because I took Spanish in school, so maybe I can pronounce this a little better than John. There are 4 Telemundo regional news stations that are also going to Fire TV, and that's Telemundo Noreste, California, Texas, and Florida. See, that wasn't that hard. There's only one Spanish word in there.
I butcher Spanish. Other NBC stations on Fire TV are going to include All Day Today and Dateline 24/7. And if you're an NFL fan like me, who watched the schedule release last night, as has been widely reported, they are going to air their first Black Friday game between the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers and the Miami Dolphins. So that should be interesting. And also, side note, Peacock is going to get their first exclusive game this season. That's going to be the Saturday right before Christmas. I think that's the 23rd, between the Buffalo Bills and Nicole's Chargers. So that should be interesting to see how they...
And I appreciate you not calling them the Los Angeles Chargers, by the way, because I really can't bring myself to do that.
So next Friday is our 22nd anniversary. And after 22 years, you learn what makes your wife happy. So, anyway.
I see Space Ghost, you noted Amazon really needs to upgrade their picture quality. Thank you for saying that. We watched the Thursday night games and wanted to know kind of what you guys thought of that experience. So I think that was something that we noticed. And John, there were a few other things you noticed as well, right?
And like our video on how to record games, it was a train wreck, I believe. And Amazon needs to increase that. And which is interesting given that the numbers for Thursday night games were down, which really isn't that big of a shocker because not everyone has Amazon Prime. But if they want it to be successful, they need to invest the resources to make it so it actually works. And when we are being told from Amazon reps that they are directing people to our video on how to record Thursday night games, the right hand's not talking to the left, in my opinion. And speaking of sports, finally, since we're coming up on our half hour, is RSNs and RSNs, regional sports networks, have been in the news more, just with Diamond Sports and Bally going through significant financial strain. Diamond is bankrupt. A judge blocked within this last week or so efforts by the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury to leave Diamond Sports for free and online streaming through a deal with Gray TV. Even though Diamond is on their last legs, the judge said the sports team couldn't yet move on from them. And then you have Fubo announcing a partnership with both the Boston Red Sox and the Cleveland Guardians through their RSNs. The Red Sox deal, according to Fubo, is the first of its kind and extends its coverage beyond airing games to branding and hospitality events at Fenway and digital engagement online. So RSNs are still up in the air. Hopefully there'll be some more resolution to this.
Yeah, John, I don't know if you know, Space Ghost had a nice comment for you here. Says that he knows enough Spanish to start a fight and get his face slapped, and that's about it. And I'll tell you all something, hopefully John won't mind me sharing. John was almost fluent in German, actually, and used to dream in German at one point.
I still do. I still do.
He's auf Deutsch, as you would say,
Yes.
I suppose.
Yes. So that's what we have for the week. Apologies for any technical issues. Again, don't want perfect to be the enemy of good. And like we said at the get-go, this is our plan to start doing weekly to just very high-level overview of what's gone on during the week and get to interact more with people aside from our edited videos. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and
and let us know, always in the community at any time what you'd like us to do videos on. We always welcome your feedback. We want to know what you guys are concerned about, and we really appreciate you tuning in.
And what services you'd like us to review or take a look at. For sure, we're always here to help. And
before we go, though, does anyone have any questions on anything we didn't address? If so, throw it up in the comments. Sounds bad. Drop it in the comments, and we'll answer you. And if it comes to your mind later, let us know in the community forum, and we're good about responding to y'all. So I did notice Woodage84, you said Roku channel has one of your local news channels, which is nice. That is nice. We're thinking about maybe down the road doing something on Roku again. It's been a while, but they do have some nice live TV options and fast options in there, and news too. And if any of y'all watched our recent video on Haystack News.
No, that's on Monday.
Oh, sorry. I was just in it this week. Monday, we're dropping a video on Haystack News. So if you are looking for ways to get free local news, watch that. I think they've upgraded their interface some and delivers a nice free experience.
For sure.
Well, let's see. We do have a few more comments here. Oh, yay. Thanks, guys. We appreciate all the positive feedback on us doing a good job on our first live stream. I think our kids were like, you need a live stream for 6 months.
Yeah.
We're like, it just takes us old people a while. So, and Tom says here at the end, you hate that streamers are dropping library shows. Discovery Plus removed Curb Appeal. You're afraid you're going to lose more of your favorites. Gardening by the Yard. And Over Your Head. Yeah, I hate that too. I really wish we had a little more control over it. It's unfortunate. And unfortunately, I think we're just going to continue to see that. It's an unfortunate side effect of the streaming space maturing.
Answer this question from John about what teleprompter we use.
Oh, what teleprompter do we use? So we have I could get back to you with the exact name of it, but it's a device that allows us to put our camera in it, and then as well an iPad, so that if there's notes that we want to read from, as you guys know, we like to be scripted because we don't want you to have to sit through a bunch of ums and ahs. And me, as you've already noticed, I'm very chatty. So I would, every YouTube video would be like an hour long, and none of you want to sit through that. I know. So we use that to keep me on track. And it's great. And it has a little remote app. So we get the whole family involved. Small kids move the screen for us. But I can't remember the name off the top of my head, John, but we can look into that for you in case you're looking to do something similar.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks again for watching and bearing through our first live stream.
Yes, thanks, everyone. We'll see you next Friday.
Yep.